Okay, so let me straighten up here and drink my little whatever this is. It's pretty good. I think it's water. Oh. Anyway, make sure you join the Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. I had someone that wrote back to me because I did this video that talked about Asian women this woman from Japan who likes black dudes, but she doesn't think black dudes like her. And, I was talking about the miscommunication. Well, this guy wrote to me saying that he was a black guy. He said, and he sent this through on my Facebook Messenger. He said, with all due respect, bro, I don't think that Asian women like black dudes for real, because for years now I've actually pursued Asian women and never get the chance. He then said that unless she's like this he mentions a famous Asian lady who dates black dudes. Unless she's like this, they typically don't go for us. It's hard to find someone like Jenny Mai, because Jenny Mai is dating Jeezy, or maybe they're engaged. I don't know. Married. I don't know. It's hard to find one like that as opposed to the other. And the other person is this famous person who I'm not going to mention their name, because he's basically saying that you only find like in order to, it's the same trope. In order to date a black dude, you have to be a certain type. So you either are, if you're a wealthy black dude, then you probably get the Jenny Mize. If you're not wealthy, then you end up with this other one that is kind of hood. So he says that, I've tried and tried and it just doesn't work. And he mentions his location, which is not far from my hometown. And so he's basically saying he disagrees. And that's cool. That's really cool. But he agrees with some parts. He was talking about, he agrees that, mostly the vast majority go for white dudes. That's true. That's for most women outside of black women. Most will choose a white dude before a black dude. The bulk of the population. And I've said that. And it's like, not a big deal. Don't go where you're somewhat tolerated, go where you're celebrated. And so that goes for anybody, because there's some black women I know that will never date a black dude ever. They even said as much. And it's like, that's cool. But those aren't the people that you should even waste your time on or even entertain. You have to go where you're tolerated, or not tolerated, celebrated. And so there are a lot of people that you just cut out. It doesn't matter what they look like. There was a point in time when, after I got a little bit older, I just look at the girl, look at the friends that she hung out with. I'm like, yeah, nah, it's okay. And, and it either way, if her friends were just so not at all, it was just, there was no culture, no color, no nothing in there, or everybody's the same, it's like, nah. Or if her friends were just straight up ratchet, nah. So yeah, it goes both ways. But to answer your question, or to respond back to what you're saying, I disagree that you're not, basically, and I went to his Facebook profile, and I'll talk about that later because that plays, I think, a factor. And there are going to be some people that may not like it, what I have to say, but I'm just going to say it. But I don't think that the Asian chick has to be ratchet in order to be with a black dude, or she grew up around black dudes or something like that, if she's Asian American, or outside of, or even if she was born in another country and she likes black dudes. She's not, this whole ratchet stuff is wrong. Now, you do have women of all races who think that that is how to get black men's attention, and you will get some attention from the wrong folks, And that may work for you, it may not, probably not. But if you want somebody of quality, be yourself. And so that's just the short and the end of it. Because there's some people that I don't know them, but that are famous. I think she's bad, but she tries to follow the stereotypes of what she thinks she should act like because she prefers black dudes. And that's just absolutely not the case. I just shaved my head. Okay. It looks all right. So that's just not true. It's just not true. You're going to basically go after or go for the type of guys that are just not really very good quality, in my opinion. Right? Looking at your pictures, you are covered in tattoos. Covered in tattoos. And there's going to be some people who I don't have a single tattoo on me. Right? I just, not my thing. A, B, I'm not down with pain like that. And some people say it doesn't hurt. Well, that's cool. That's just not my thing. But you have a tattoo also like on your face. And so that's not going to work. Unless the person that you're going for is down with that ratchet stuff. Now, I know that sounds very judgmental. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. But if you're trying to get someone who is from a place like Japan, where back in the day, I don't know about now, but I'm talking like at least 10 years ago, the whole idea of having a tattoo was kind of looked down upon. You can't even go to a beach with a tattoo exposed in Japan. Like, you have to cover it up. So that is going to discredit you right there. The other thing is perception and optics. You know, I know of non-Asian chicks that won't go for a guy that has tattoos. Now, nowadays things are different because everybody and their uncle has one. But it's rare and rarer to find someone that doesn't. But unless that person has them themselves, excuse me, she may not be down for it. Again, we're talking about margins here. And the more things that are not in alignment, the more difficult it is. First off, your location is going to be a big limiting factor. Second, so that's going to disqualify a lot of things, right? There's not a high Asian population to begin with. The Asian people that are there is going to either stick only with men who are of their own, nationality, or they're going to be interested in white dudes, right? It's kind of an either or. And I've seen some that will be interested in Hispanic guys, but not black dudes, right? I got to charge my phone up. So, hold on a second. There we go. Phone's like, thank you, bro. So, you're dealing with very, very small margins. Very, very tiny. You may have some that don't really care. They're like, good guy is a good guy, doesn't matter, and their family's cool with it. Or you have those who are cool with it, but their family's not cool with it. And so then the window gets smaller. I mean, these are facts. So then when you look at your profile pictures, it just, I don't see it. I don't see it. So you're really narrowing the field down. And so that's kind of, I've seen a couple of dudes that will say that, like, oh, this is the case, like, and then it's like, okay, but what do you have to offer? The other thing is, let's say that none of that's a factor. What do you have to offer? Because a lot of Asian American families have pretty high expectations when it comes to, not all, but a good chunk have high expectations when it comes to, their daughter and the person that is dating them. So did you go to college? Because they're wanting you to do better than what she's doing. And if you didn't go to college, then you probably aren't it's not gonna work. Not always, but I mean, you're dealing, especially if they're from other countries, Now, it depends. If you're talking like Japan and Korea and places like that, there's a high impetus on education and job and career and all of that type of stuff. And if you're not really doing that, then it's going to be even more difficult. I'm sorry. If you're talking other countries like Philippines, Thailand, that type of thing, Vietnam, yeah, there may be those family members who, again, education is key and jobs and things like that. But it's not as, those countries are not nearly as developed as Japan and Korea and China and places like that. So job opportunities are not as abundant. High paying jobs are not as abundant there as what you see in these other countries. I mean, these are facts. Now, some people will get mad, but I've been to foreign countries. I've been to Hong Kong, and I've seen the dichotomy there. Like Hong Kongers, mainland Chinese versus a lot of the Filipinos who go there and they're doing housekeeping, but I forget the name that is domestic helper. I think I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I mean, I was married to someone from Hong Kong, so yeah, I get it. I'm just telling you, like, there's a lot of barriers there, and even though I achieved a lot, there were still like barriers. But once you've actually, you can stand there equally, it's a little bit different. Not saying that you still won't face challenges. It's a lot different. It's no longer like, well, is he a good guy? Is he able to, provide? Does he have good work ethic? Once you have the job settled, you have a house, you have all these different things, it's a little different, right? It's a little bit different. And so now it goes off of your personality, and it's so there's a lot of different hurdles that you have to jump over, especially when we're talking about a country like Japan where their salaries are either right at what ours is or a little bit more or maybe a little bit less. And when you have countries that are like that, it's hard, because if you're only making minimum wage, nothing against that, but if you're making a minimum wage and she's an accountant in Tokyo, I mean, or a nurse, her family's like, what is he going to offer you? Like, so it I don't know how to explain it other without sounding mean or rude, and that's not what I'm trying to do, but that's just kind of the case. Sometimes that's the case here in the US too. It could be that the parents are from another country and immigrated here, but their kids were born and raised here. And they still have that same expectation that we want you to be with someone who is, either equal with you in terms of education, job, all of that, and salary, or greater, especially if the child's a female, if their child's a female. You see what I'm saying? So it's the burden is more on you to shine and sparkle in their eye. And if there's a couple of things that don't, it's going to be difficult. So I think that when you go to places where there's a bigger population of Asian women, then it's not that there's a bigger pie, so to speak. Yes, you're going to probably have to carve out 75% of that because they're never going to look in your direction ever. And so then you have that 25%. These are wrong percentages, right? I'm just saying. The bulk are not even going to look at you. And then you have that small percentage there who are going to go for someone who is more aligned with what they have, what they've already done. And so, not that was my mission to just set out and say, I'm getting me an Asian woman. That wasn't it. I went to college because and wanted to achieve stuff because of the simple fact that I just wanted to do different than what my parents and my sisters did. And I wanted to be able to just have a business. That was my goal, was like, hey, I want to have a business. I don't want to. And at the time, I remember when I was like 16 and mopping the floor at a grocery store. And I'm like, I don't want to do this, going out getting carts in the rain. I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. So then I worked at a factory when I was 18, like in between college. and it just sucked. I'm like, man, I can't do it. And they offered me a job and it was going to pay good, but I'm like, I can't do it. So that was the difference. Not saying any of those jobs are bad, but there was a lot of motivating factors for me. So when I was dating, that wasn't much of a problem because I had a really good job and all of that stuff. So I had the education. So that was never really a question. There was never really a question on that. So I think that one, where you're living is part of the problem. Two, the way that you carry yourself is a big chunk of the problem. And so, yeah, because I know other dudes, excuse me, other black dudes who haven't had a problem and have dated Asian woman after Asian woman after black woman after a white woman after a Hispanic woman and all over the place, like I have, and it wasn't an issue. So, and I think also too, a lot of this is about perception. If again, if your approach is off, if your approach is wrong, or if you just have a trash approach, most women are going to be like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like some dudes just don't understand that. If your approach is wrong, and this has nothing to do with race, because I know a few dudes right now off the top of my head who, these are white dudes, happen to be white dudes, who their attitude is just straight up trash. it just is. And there's a special person for everyone, right? There's a special person for everyone. But if what you're looking for is a foreign born Japanese or Chinese or Korean chick, it's going to be difficult. And if you're going for someone who is from the Philippines or Thailand or something like that, again, if your approach is not, and I don't know your approach, but if your approach is not good, it's going to be more difficult. And again, I don't want people to get mad at me or write to me and be like, well, what do you know? I'm a Filipina and I demand a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, women who are from the Philippines, you can pretty much be a couch potato and that's cool. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the lifestyle is different, right? In places like Hong Kong, it's like, go get it. We just got to, keep striving to get to the top, to the top, to the top, to the top. I mean, that's just how Hong Kong is. You know what I mean? Like everybody is just hard competing, got to get to the top, got to beat the other person, got to, always get the bigger job and this, that, and the other. That's just the way Hong Kong has been, right? And when you look at other countries like Japan and Hong Kong's technically not a country, but anyway, when you look at Japan and places like that, that's kind of how it is. Other countries, Asian countries, are kind of a little bit more laid back. It's not so much like that. You might have a little bit more degree of latitude there where, maybe you didn't go to college, so maybe the parents won't judge you as much. Maybe the person won't judge you as much. And so it's a little bit, it might be a better circumstance. But again, you have to be able to bring something to the table in any situation. And so I think that that's the big part of it. I think with this girl that wrote to me originally, I just think that she just misread the situation. And I think the guy misread the situation. And I think that maybe you are misreading the situation a little bit because sometimes the perception is, oh, they're not going to go after me because of this, or they're not going to like me because of this. Or sometimes it is, I'm going to use the same approach I've been using. And, I'm going to use it here and it doesn't work. So I don't know. But I do think, honestly, that the face tattoo is a problem. Along with, he's got tattoos everywhere. And I just don't think that a lot of Asian chicks are going to rock with that unless they have them or unless they don't care. And there's some that don't. I think you have a better shot if it is an Asian woman that has tattoos herself, period. And I mean, they do exist, but I think that's probably going to be a big part of it. But anyhow, Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you join the Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.